Your news for the state of Tennessee in 10 minutes. Tennessee in 10 is made possible by Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Amanda Harrow. We want to start with your first alert forecast this morning and Darius Mack. We are tracking a first alert weather day issued for some people across the state, Darius.
Yeah, especially further north and west you go, you're going to be running into that stronger energy where some of those storms could pack a punch as far as winds go, and also the potential for those heavy hitting rains. Here's the time window as we go throughout the day today. Most areas will actually catch in with plenty of dry time before you'll notice an organized line of showers and thunderstorms will develop from northwest to southeast. This will continue to cruise in as we go into the pre-dawn hours on your Thursday, and this is going to be that time window again where we're going to have to watch for some of those winds that could be potentially strong and severe with some of those storms. And then a lot of this really wraps up for us as we go throughout the day for your Thursday. Things look drier for us with sunshine breaking back out. Temperatures generally making a run into the 80s to even perhaps near 90s for some areas. We'll have a touch of a few clouds, maybe some spotty raindrops later into Thursday night. But as far as high temperatures are expected today, generally the high 80s to right around 90 degrees. There's the severe risk as we're going to be watching for areas across north and west under the level 2 out of 5 threat level, further south and east under the level 1 out of 5 threat level. Amanda?
Well, hundreds of people have signed a petition to prevent a new tunnel from being built to connect downtown Nashville to BNA, the airport in Nashville. The petition was created by Democratic Representative Afton Bain. State officials have been in talks with an Elon Musk company on potentially building the tunnel. It would be between 5 and 10 miles long. But according to the petition on change.org, there are concerns that officials may be negotiating behind closed doors without community input. Bain also says similar tunnel projects in other cities have either failed or been criticized for being costly, underwhelming, and inaccessible.
Elon Musk is an absolute grifter and scammer, and he has ongoing deals and pitches to cities across the country in which those promises have been unfulfilled. He wants to see his empire grow in the city, and Nashvillians are saying, no, we don't want Musk anywhere near Nashville.
Bain says Tennessee lawmakers should instead focus on fixing state roads, increasing access to transit, and fast-tracking a light rail system. The Memphis branch of the NAACP plans to sue Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company xAI for alleged violations of the Clean Air Act in Memphis. The Southern Environmental Law Center filed an intent to sue notice on behalf of the NAACP. The letter sent to xAI says Musk violated federal law by installing dozens of polluting gas turbines at its data center without any of the required permits. According to the SELC, in March, the site had 35 turbines. In April, thermal images showed nearly all the turbines were emitting significant amounts of heat.
For the last year, these turbines have been pumping hazardous and smog-forming pollution into the air in South Memphis, a community already overburdened with industrial pollution. These pollutants can cause increased rates of asthma, heart disease, respiratory illness, and even cancer.
Several groups held a protest yesterday outside the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. The groups called for more transparency and accountability from xAI, more protection for their communities. They also were there to demand clean air. A former Franklin soccer coach accused of drugging and raping boys has pleaded guilty to several charges. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office of Middle Tennessee, Camilo Campos Hurtado pleaded guilty to charges including exploitation of a minor and possessing fraudulent immigration documents. Campos will be sentenced in October. He faces a minimum of 15 years in prison. An East Tennessee high school football coach will not return to the program next year at West High School in Knoxville. The news comes as 2 former coaches are being accused of sex crimes. An internal investigation found there was a significant lack of oversight of the West High School football program. Knox County Schools says additional staff members at West High violated their policies and procedures, including failure to report information to law enforcement and the Department of Children's Services. A total of 5 staff members are facing reprimand from the county. The school system says under the watch of the head coach, Lamar Brown, multiple assistant coaches were charged with criminal activity and, quote, gross misconduct.
I also want to acknowledge how challenging the last few weeks have been for the students and family at West. You've lived with a lot of unanswered questions, frustrations, and uncertainty in the last couple of months, and I realize that. We've had the same questions and the same frustrations. West High is an excellent school, and it isn't how anyone wanted the school year to end. I want to thank you for your patience and your understanding.
The school district says several staff members were either fired, resigned, or their roles within the school were reassigned. 12 inmates are now facing charges for their role in a prison riot that led to a lockdown at the Charlesdale Correctional Center earlier this month. Some of the charges include aggravated riot, kidnapping, and robbery. Several inmates left their cells, confronted guards, and then took over a prison yard. One guard and 3 inmates were hurt. A grand jury also handed down other indictments not related to the riot. Those include attempted murder and aggravated assault. The Charlesdale County District Attorney is calling for the Department of Corrections to take over the prison. Right now, it's managed by a private company called CoreCivic. The DA says there have been hundreds of incidents at the prison over the last few years. In fact, the Justice Department launched an investigation last year for alleged civil rights violations. The DA says that the ongoing problems demonstrate CoreCivic is unable to address the issues. Amusement parks are hoping for a strong summer despite President Trump's tariffs. Steel parts for rides and carnival prizes usually come from China. Dollywood opened a week later this year due to economic concerns, but so far attendance has been up 4% from last year. Park officials say discount tickets for public employees have been popular. They say customers are buying tickets for their families closer to when they visit instead of several days or weeks in advance. Aerospace jobs are expanding in East Tennessee. Howmet Aerospace is adding more than 200 new jobs in Morristown. That's in Hamblin County. The company creates parts for jet engines and aerospace technologies. Howmet already employs more than 1,000 people there in Hamblin. The company is based in Pennsylvania. And 11 ducklings were rescued from a storm drain in West Tennessee in Collierville. 3 officers climbed down inside of that drain to pull each duckling to safety one by one. The Collierville Police Department says it was another day of service, even for their feathered friends. Thanks for watching Tennessee in 10.